Alright, everyone, take a second and think about the last time you felt genuinely shocked by a headline. Maybe you were scrolling TikTok or a link popped up or some YouTube shorts or in group chat information. Within a minute, you are reading comments, watching videos, and exactly in that time, you have a very strong opinion about someone else you've never met. So, welcome to the Lens. I am Amina Akan, the host of this podcast. Today we're peeling back to the 13 on scandal culture. We live in a world where secrets do not stay secrets for a long time. But here's the $1,000,000 questions. Is this exposure actually cleaning up society? Or is it just making us more cynical and honestly just exhausted? To help me figure this out, I have two brilliant guests. First is Dayana Batar, a professor and researcher in psychology. Please welcome Dayana. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
So Dayana, you've been looking at our brains handle this outrage cycle, right?
Yeah, exactly, Amina. Fascinating by why we as humans are most biological addicted to watching someone else's downfall. And I'm really glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
And we also have Anel Askarova, social psychologist and media analyst. Welcome, Anel. Hello.
Hello.
Anel, you're looking at the bigger picture, how these stories change our politics and our trust in the world.
I'm really glad to be here. And yeah, I'm looking at how scandals are often used as a tool. And how sometimes these scandals can be used as the justice or to distract people from the important information.
Yes, it really is. And I was looking into foundational work to start us off. So back in 1997, David Altait wrote something about called problem frame in news media. He argued that media doesn't just report what happened. They frame event as urgent, some scary thing to grab our attention. It's not just the fact they just trying to carry our attention, and sometimes it's terrifying. And he was just talking about this. Dayana, so as a psychologist, does that ring true? Are we just reacting to fear when we click in scandal?
We have such interesting topic. So I prepared some researches and I bring them.
Yes, I see.
So that's a perfect lead, Amina. You see, Altair's fear fame works because it taps into the ancient part of our brain. I've been driving into study by Feinberg and his colleagues 2012. That's named Virtues of Gossip.
Yes.
The study is about that. Now most of people think that gossip is the dirty and let's the low thing, but Feinberg argues that sharing reputational information, basically gossip, is pro-social behavior.
Yes.
Thousands of years ago, if a member of a group is stealing something or tell a lie, you needed to tell it to your group to protect them. So when we see scandals today, our first reaction is still about the other everyone. This to protect them.
Yes.
So and we to feel like we are protect our friends like this, and to feel that we are good citizens like this.
I see you have a lot of researches on there. You've been good.
Yes, I
What do you
also
think?
has some pretty good arguments. So I think, Diana, that's such a cool way to look at it. And so actually the main trouble start when the scandals being viral and not only few people talking about about it, when the whole world talking about it. And this brings me to Ari Adot 2005 theory of scandals. He used the fall of Oscar Wilde to show that scandals isn't just about the bad act itself, it's about the publicity. So once an act is public, it forces society to react. But Adot points out that often it turns into the moral crusade. So we stop caring about actual facts, we caring about other people's opinion, and it is important like to them to make a show rather than to look at facts, and also to justify the bad person in particular situations. And when people start doing this, it's not about true information, it's about spectacle of morals.
Yes, I think we see the point when the people start thinking that a villain should be punished, and they just follow their emotions. They can't just truly look into the facts, what is truly is going on. So it's like we start off this with this social instinct to protect our group, like Feinberg said, but then the media turns into a moral crusade to get clicks. And then it feels like corrupting, I think, when you just trying to pretend. Yeah.
Exactly, and let's look how the villains respond to that. So, because they know the audience is looking for the spectacle, they have learned how to hack the system. And recently, I read a brand new study by the Cuban 2026. They found that politicians now use the claims of victimhood to survive scandals. So, instead of apologizing, they say, "I'm the victim of media, of mass media, and so on." In the end of the scandals, no one take responsibility, and they run out of this problem.
This is so psychological, brilliant situation. They are essentially thieving the trip of protection from the audience. Their supporters feel that they are protecting their leaders, the good persons, from the evil media. But it's a total flip of reality. I think
Yes,
so.
it's really so. You know, if we really taking deep understanding of this, if everyone is a victim or villain, and it's a fear time, or how actually should we know what is true anymore? Like, social media is true or not, that the person is really victim or villain. How should we know if everything is so faked? So I don't know, I've noticed that every people around me they just closing the apps. They can't believe it. What do you think? Like, how should we know exactly?
I think that situation when the scandals are actually funded. The first ones who find this is the police, the
Yes.
special orders. They must to check it.
Yes.
Who is the victim? Who is the provocators? Who are doing all the toughest things
Yes.
like this? The government must to care about this
Yes.
situation.
So I have one research by Kabashi 2025. He recently published report on news fatigue and avoidance. He found that because we are just so urgent about the scandals, and our brains just get overloaded. We have so much information. We aren't becoming aware. We're becoming exhausted. We just tired of this fake information, fake news, and not only fake, we just have a lot of information in social media. So we're just can have a peaceful Tuesday in our day or peaceful evening, because we have so much information in our TikTok or some Instagram,
Yes.
Google.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're totally right, Amina, and that fatigue has a massive price tag, public trust. And I was looking at the research by the Nielsen 2024. They studied how media use affect trust in social services in Sweden. So, because of the massive and global scandals, people started to think that everything is fake, everything is not true, because they see it every day,
Yes.
and their brain like starting normalize it.
Yes,
So
yes.
even everything is good and everything is working good, if someone like several people will say that no, it's working really bad, so because of this gossip, scandals, people won't trust, and to return this trust, it's really hard to do that.
Yes, I agree with you. It's really
Yeah.
hard things.
Also, I think that connects perfectly to what I see in my research regarding learning helpnesses. When you see a new scandal every hour,
Yes.
every minute, you start to feel like, well, everyone is corrupt. So why should I bother, vote, or care about someone like this?
Yes, yes. And this exactly what Lee and Senex found in 2020. They're studying news finds me perceptions. You know that a lot of people think that I don't need this news to look for it. I don't need this news to read. I think this news will find me on social media, on TikTok, on Instagram, something like this. So they say that the news coming from the social media is not true. In TikTok we have a lot of opinion, a lot of people with video who are saying their opinion, their biased opinion about one situation. So when we say that I don't need to read this news, I just will find it on social media, we will face to the other different opinions. So I think we should read this news for ourselves to and really understand what is going on. So, but Lee and Senex found that this mindset leads to massive political cynicism. You only see the spectacle and the victimhood, and you end up thinking the whole world is scam. You're not aware, you're just cynical. So when we just not know what is going on, we just see the spectacle, we can trust the news, and we don't read the news, we just see it on social media, so we just see the spectacle.
Yes.
So I think it's really heavy thought. We think we're being connected because the news finds us, but we're actually just becoming more disconnected from reality when we don't know what is going on in real life. We're essentially aware of the drama, but blind to the actual solutions.
Yeah, exactly. That's the social media scandals. Drama is becoming like a disease for into the peoples who are rich for some like interesting things, maybe. Yeah, I think so.
Yes,
What
and
else?
I think after this discussion we have the question, is there any hope? Because I have to say that some scandals is need to expose, but it's really harmful for our society, like Epstein files. We already know it by the Justice Government 2026 archives, and also we see it on social medias, and I think it's really bad situations, and I'm so sorry for the victims that have survived this problem. And I don't think that it's good, because when we see this kind of bad information all day, our brain starting normalize it, and maybe like in 10 years, if we will heard something like this, we will say, oh, it already happened in 2026. And I don't think that is good. But on the other hand, it is maybe good that we know that this is happening, and this is kind of awareness to us.
So you think that information's kind of this should not be allowed to everyone? Yes. Should it be like government secret or what?
I think I would say 50-50 because yes, it's really harmful for our brain because we don't see it every day. For
Yes.
example, in Kazakhstan, we don't see like this kind of bad things and so on. But on the other hand, maybe it is good because we will stop romanticize this Hollywood and this kind of things.
You know, in Kazakhstan, we also have situations like this, which is always connected with a woman or children.
Yes.
So I think information, something like this, should be allowed for everyone. I think we should be aware of what is happening in our world. But some information, I think, should be secret. But not for a long time. I think people should know the truth always. What do you think?
I think some quite opposite, because if we don't know about the Epstein cases, we already have know about the crucial, that's the awful thing that he did with the other persons, with the girls that he did. So I think it's more about that helpful to society, to people, to understand and see the real problem and exact billions in this situations, like these situations, and get some reforms in these cases, maybe for like in our Kazakhstani situation, like of the Sultanate law.
Yes, yes.
Like we can actually mention, so that's really affected in our society, in our country, that the judgment, justice to the villain in this situation is take his
punishment.
his punishment, yeah. Sorry, his punishment, and we actually can see that in our country we have a justice. We can protect our children, our women, our persons, like to live our really good life.
Yeah, so I see your point. I think you're saying like it should be allowed. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I think you're saying that we should knew this information. Yes, exactly. After the Sultanate situation, I think every woman in Kazakhstan are being more aware of men or some situations like this, and they're being more, clear about some people. So I love that. It's the difference between, shaming and learning. If I see a scandal and I just use it to feel better than someone else, I think it's corruption. But if I use it, understand how to make community better, true. So I think it's true awareness. I'm trying to, help community. So we can do it. We can do from this corruption. We should, I think, be aware of all of this.
Yeah, I see your points, Amina and Dayana, and I think that however the requires us to fight against the news fatigue. Kabashi talked about it, and it requires us to actually read the article, not only the headline, and it's hard work to be truly aware.
Yes. So, this conversation has really changed how I look at my feed. We've seen from Dayana a lot of facts, and from urge to gossip is actually an old tool for protection, the gossips from 1,000 years ago, but it's being warped into a spectacle. So people just making it to spectacle. We've seen from Anel how politicians use victimhood to shield themselves. They just protecting themselves by this victimhood, and how a lack of trust can paralyze a whole society. But the takeaway here is powerful. Scandal culture only corrupts us if we let it be a spectacle. So I think we should not we can't do it like a spectacle. I think we should not corrupt it. We should do it more like awareness. If we stay in that problem of fear, we lose. We just lose this game. We just can't protect ourselves, children who's growing up. But if we follow the advice of researchers like Albu and treat these moments as case studies for a better future, then we reclaim our power. I think we should always be aware of this. Don't let the news find you. Do not let the social media shape your opinion. It should be your personal opinion. You should read it by yourself. So I think you should go and find the truth. Don't just be outraged, but curious. Be curious, because awareness without action is just a noise. But awareness with a critical mind is the start of the change. I think we should always have a critical thinking so that we can start changing our world or this scandal culture. So Dayana and Anel, thank you for being here. It was an incredible session. It was really interesting researches. It was really knowledgeable.
Yeah, thank you for having there. We'll talk about the really crucial themes in our society. And I actually agree with you that the situation like this, the awful scandals, this must be in our society, but to reform it and get it better, even better.
Thank you, Amina, for having us and for this podcast. I also think that it was really educational, academic, and remember everyone to read the whole article, not the headline.
Yes, and to all of you listeners, thank you for joining us on The Lens. Put on the phones for a bit, take a deep breath, and we'll see you in the next session. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Боже.